Today we bring a bill that's this is the third time's a charm, I think. We've worked really closely with the Secretary of State's office on this bill to try and get our language right, to make sure that we didn't step on anything we shouldn't be stepping on. So what this bill does is a couple of different things. First off, it actually clarifies a little bit more in the first section of it that a person cannot tamper with or change in any way any ballots that they may have in their possessions that's not theirs. On line 32 starts the carve-outs that we needed for when people are picking up ballots. So the carve-outs that we have on there are people whose regular duties are to run an election. United States Postal Office, obviously they're going to be picking up ballots out of the mail, so we got to make sure that they're carved out. Employee or contractors from common carriers. I think one of the important ones is number D, which is a person who receives compensation from the voter. So that means that if I pay someone to take in my ballot, I'm okay with that, but I can't pay somebody to take in your ballot. Any relatives that are 5 degrees out, a member of the household is allowed to, and then caregivers for a voter, as long as the voter is not under care for memory or cognitive impairment. It also comes in the candidate or elected office whose name is on the ballot cannot collect ballots, so I can't go collect ballots if I'm on that ballot. And that goes for anybody who is also helping with that campaign. It prevents persons to allow ballots who are attempting to influence a voter in any way. So if someone influences a voter, they can't collect that ballot either. And then if a person is paid by anyone other than the voter who collects 10 or more ballots, it is a felony for that. So we've done a lot of work on this. We've worked with the Secretary of State's office. He has approved this and is very in support of it. And so with that, I would ask for your green light and stand for any questions.
Thank you, gentlemen. You've heard the debate on the motion. Good lady from 18.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To debate against the bill.
Good lady has the floor. Debate against the bill.
Thank you. I feel that it's just a basic precept of government that we should only be criminalizing bad behavior. I think we are really running afoul when we criminalize good behavior, which is what this bill does. So to be clear, and this is something, as I've said in previous debates on previous iterations of this bill, I have done this. I will openly confess to you all. I knock a lot of doors. Often when you're getting close to the election, people are really nervous about mailing in their absentee ballot. It might be the Friday or the Saturday before the election. They're afraid it won't get there in time. And sometimes the person has a mobility problem. I found people who had recently broken a leg, and it's a hard time. It's a hard time for them to try to drive somewhere. Older people who live alone, who don't get out. There are a lot of reasons why people might be in this boat. They still have their absentee ballot. They filled it out themselves. It's sealed. They've done all the things they should, but they're afraid to mail it. And they'll say, hey, can you drop this off for me? And I say, sure. And I take it, to the ballot drop box, and I don't even know if they voted for me. I have no idea, never opened it, didn't fill it out for them, did not do anything inappropriate, just took it and dutifully dropped it in the ballot drop box. This would make me a criminal, to be clear. Being a good Samaritan, helping your neighbor who might have a mobility restriction, this would make you a criminal. In fact, if you have, say, a campaign worker, I've got lots of volunteers, but I also sometimes I hire kids. I pay them $10 an hour to help me get out there and knock doors. If they pick up a ballot and faithfully deliver it at the voter's request, they would be a felon for doing a good deed. Now, I'm all for criminalizing bad behavior. The part of this that talks about, you shouldn't tamper with a ballot, of course, that's great. Maybe we should make it a crime to tell someone you're going to deliver their ballot and then not deliver their ballot. That would be bad. But telling someone you're going to deliver their ballot and then delivering their ballot is good. It's helpful. Why would we make this a crime? I think this really has a disproportionate burden on people who are in rural areas where folks might help out a neighbor by dropping off a ballot for them. In fact, a similar law was struck down in Montana because of its adverse effect on tribes. Those living on tribal reservations, it's very challenging to get to the drop-off box, and so people might help out a neighbor by taking several of them at once. This is hard on people with disabilities, injuries, the elderly. Not everybody has a permanent caretaker or a family member that lives with them that would fall under the exception of this bill. So all in all, I feel that it is our duty to criminalize only bad behavior, to not criminalize good behavior, and so I hope you will give this bill your red light.
Thank you, ladies, for the debate on the motion. Gentleman 15.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Would the gentleman yield for a question?
The gentleman from 6 yield to a question.
Gentleman yields.
Gentleman yields.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, good gentleman. I just wanted to make sure I heard you correctly. when you said that if I, as the candidate, dropped off a sealed absentee ballot, that I would be guilty of a crime for doing that. Did I understand that correctly?
Gentleman 6.
Mr. Speaker, good gentleman, that is correct.
To debate?
Good gentleman 15, you didn't know the answer to that question, and we've been doing a lot of that on the floor. We got to stop.
Well-
With that, good gentleman has the floor to debate the bill.
You know,
Good gentleman 15, let me explain that. And so the speaker will take a prerogative here for a minute.
Bully
One of the
pulpit.
things I've noticed about my friends on the floor, and it's not any particular
26
place,
years.
it's all of us. We do
He's
these
been there.
questions we know the answer to try to get gotcha to drive into the discussion. And that's why we don't allow you to ask a question you know the answer to. And I'm not saying that where you went, good gentleman, was too far, but it's been a habit lately, and I would like to end that habit. So with that, good gentleman, you have the floor to debate the bill.
thank you, Mr. Speaker.
You tell
And
everybody in your caucus to know.
I asked because I didn't want to. I just wanted to make sure that what I'm about to say was not going to be incorrect.
Thank you, good gentleman.
Okay, so that's the only reason why I asked. And I must say, this bill is an insult to every member in this body. This bill says that each one of us, cannot be trusted. And if you want to tell your constituents that you can't be trusted, vote for this bill. But I'm not going to do that.
Thank you, gentlemen. For debate on the motion. Good lady from 8.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If the good gentleman would yield to a question.
Gentleman from 6, yield to a question.
Gentleman yields.
Gentleman yields.
Thank you. And, sir, I do not know the answer to this, so I'm genuinely curious. If I'm the candidate and I'm dropping off my family's ballots, where does that leave me?
Gentleman 6.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and good lady. If it's in your household, it is still legal.
Thank you, ladies. Further debate on the
What
motion.
about the one next door, the relative next door?
Hearing none, good gentleman 4.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To debate.
Gentleman has the floor to debate the bill.
Let me point out a few of the ballot harvesting operations that are existing in this
Yeah,
state.
you bet. That's
Because,
never been proven.
you know, we do know that there are ballot harvesting operations that are, operate across the country. That is a proven fact, and I will tell you, it is happening in Idaho. And let me give you an example. I have gone through the absentee ballot returns in my county for the last couple of years, and we are seeing 100% return of absentee ballots from nursing homes. Those are clearly ballot harvesting operations. And I would suggest that there is probably something nefarious going on among some of the people in nursing homes who are incapable
My mother's
of
in a nursing
discerning
home.
the ballots.
She votes
100%
absentee.
return indicates criminal activity.
Her
You
ballots
cannot
don't
have
come back.
100% return of mail. It just doesn't happen.
She's 97.
So this is a very good bill. This is abuse of the ballot process, and we do need to pass this bill. I urge your green vote on this.
Thank you, gentlemen. Further debate on the motion. Good lady from 18.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Would the good gentleman from District 6 stand for a question?
Gentleman from 6, yield to a question.
Gentleman yields.
Gentleman yields.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and good gentleman. So just to clarify, because I don't know the answer to this, but based off of the question asked previously, if I needed to take my mother's ballot and drop it off, seeing that she doesn't reside with me, however, because of some limiting conditions is unable to drive, am I able to do that?
Gentleman 6.
Mr. Speaker and good lady, I believe that you can, and here's why I say that. Because if you look at page 2, line 6, a person who is related to the voter, whether by adoption, marriage, or blood within the fifth degree of consanguinity, I think that covers that as well, because those are the exceptions.
Okay, just seeking clarification. Thank you.
Thank you, good lady from 18. Further debate on the motion. Good lady from 18.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Actually, I am now confused. Would the gentleman yield to a question?
Gentleman 6, yield to a question.
Gentleman yields.
Gentleman yields.
Thank you, good gentleman. I thought I understood this, but in light of your last answer, I'm not sure I do. Because I did see that there was an exception for people who are related, but then I see in section 3 that a person who is a candidate for elected office is subject to the criminal provisions and may not collect or convey the ballots pursuant to subsection 2E, F, etc. So I guess I'm trying to understand which section trumps which. It looks to me from section 3, like even if we did deliver our mother's ballot, we would be criminals. But am I misunderstanding that? How do you reconcile section 3 that claims to override sections 2E and F with the section 2E exception for family.
Gentleman 6.
Mr. Speaker and good lady, I believe that the exceptions will actually override on that one for family.
Hey, good lady.
Follow up, Mr. Speaker.
Does the gentleman from 6 yield to additional question?
Not this time, sir.
Gentleman does not yield. Lady from 18. Is there further debate on the motion? Good lady from 19.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is raising a lot of questions.
Would the good lady like to debate the bill?
I would like to debate the bill, please.
Good lady has the floor to debate the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is raising so many questions. I don't see how we can move forward with this. And I would like to point you all to page 2, starting on line 20. It says, any person who lawfully collects or conveys another voter's voted or unvoted ballot as authorized in subsection 2 of this section shall not attempt to influence the voter in any way. The good lady from 18 explained how she would have been in violation of this. I've been in violation of that one. I've delivered my parents' ballots to the drop box after my father asked me advice on how to vote. It was a humbling moment, right? When your parent comes to you and asks you kind of what you think about what's on the ballot, and he trusted me, so I gave him that information, and then he voted, and then I delivered it. Those are really common conversations in families, and now you wouldn't be able to tell deliver your spouse's ballot, your child's ballot, anyone in your family, if you'd had that conversation about how to vote. And I still read this plainly, is that if you're a candidate for elected office, you can't do that. This is so unnecessary. Anything nefarious you can do with someone else's ballot is illegal. This just makes it harder to get properly cast ballots counted. And isn't that what we all wanted? That everybody's voice is heard and every vote is counted. Please vote no.
Thank you, ladies. Further debate on the motion? Hearing none, would gentleman 6 care to close the debate?
Good, Mr. Speaker. I appreciate everybody's comments on this. This has been an interesting bill to go through, but like I said, we have worked with the Secretary of State's office very carefully to make sure that we didn't mess anything up on this. He is in support of it. I do want to bring up the influence of the voter. I personally, my daughter just turned 18 last week, and I says, hey, you get a vote in the next election, and you can vote for me if you'd like, but it's up to you. Because I think that it's important, each person's vote is their vote, and we should not ever try to influence anybody. So with that, Mr. Speaker, I would ask for your green light.
Thank you, gentlemen. Debate's closed. Question is, shall House Bill 599 pass the House?
Watch this.
Clerk will lock the machine. Members will cast their votes.
Party line vote. Yep, we don't want everybody to vote now, do we?
Has every member voted?
Majority party Republicans.
Just keep pushing it. Does anybody else change their vote? Clerk will lock the machine, record the roll.
What does that tell you?
58 ayes, 11 nay, 1 absent, and excused. The majority having voted in favor of House Bill
All Republicans.
599. House Bill 599 is passed the House.